The ones that the kids seem to prefer the most and ask about the most are the old cowboy tales, especially about Colonel Charlie Goodnight and Oliver Loving. Now, I don't know if you understand that those two people actually did exist. Nobody could make up a name like Colonel Charles Goodnight or Oliver Loving and put them together, Goodnight and Loving, and turn it into a rough, hard, dry cattle trail. They were the hard-bitten, irascible people. Oliver Loving was in advanced stages of crusty old farthood when he finally passed away. The manner of his passing was interesting. There are several tales told about that. Oliver was supposedly killed by the Mescalero Apaches, who hated him, despised him with many, many good reasons. Colonel Charlie Goodnight was walking with Beckwith out over the boards which comprised the sidewalks in Old Taos, New Mexico, back in the days when it was palisaded. It was raining, had been raining for quite a while, so you needed those boards because of the mud. And an object hurtled over the palisade into the mud. Sheriff Beckwith reached down and fetched it up, and it was a head severed from the body, cruelly. Held it up and said to Colonel Charlie Goodnight, "Why, that looks like Oliver Loving." And Colonel Charlie Goodnight said, "Can't be. Oliver's not that tall." But when they were alive, when both of those guys were alive, there was quite a difference in temperament between them. I got this story from an old rancher named Ralph Hahn Sr. up there in Troy, Montana, who loved to talk about about the last of the great Texas to Montana cattle drives, in which he was a participant. He's one of the few living participants in the Denver to Montana leg of that trail. He recounted how at one time Colonel Charlie Goodnight, was a prominent folk hero by then of the old Southwest, loped up to Oliver Loving's cabin. It was on the outside of Old Taos, and dismounted, knocked politely on the door. Oliver answered. Charlie Goodnight said, "Oliver, as you know, I'm a prominent folk hero hereabouts, and I have substantial folk hero business to get at. From a damn horse stepped in a chuck hole and broke its fool leg, and I'd appreciate it if you could provide me with a remount." At that time, Oliver Loving was running the remude. He was a wrangler. He had a gang of horses down there by the river. "Well, Charlie," Oliver Loving said, "I've got an altogether fine horse here. It's got good blood. It's got good withers. It's a fine animal, but you don't want it." "Well, how's that, Oliver?" Charlie said. "Well, Charlie, as I say, it's a remarkable animal. It's good blood, and it's lean of flank, and it's long of breath. But you see, it's an egg-setting horse." "It's a what, Oliver?" "Well, it's an egg-setting horse." "My God damn you, Oliver Loving, for 50 years I have listened to your fecal badinage, your rural ribaldries, your raucous rusticana. I'm not about to stand here and spend another minute doing that. Now, give me that damn horse, egg-setting indeed." Gave him the horse. Well, Colonel Charlie Goodnight loped off down the road in pursuit of folk hero business. On the other side of the fence along the road was a little nest of prairie chicken eggs. And Horace looked over the fence, vaulted into the air, sunfished once. I'm going to Switzerland on Monday to a festival over there. You think I got a problem here? Wait till I get there. And threw Colonel Goodnight down into the dust. The horse vaulted over the fence and sat down on them eggs. Well, Colonel Goodnight was astonished. He picked himself up and slapped the dust out with his Stetson, clambered down the embankment over the fence, jerk-reined that dumb brute back up onto the road. He mounted it, saddle-wise. It's just it's a test to make sure that we're all here. And loped off once again down the road in pursuit of heavy hero biz. While he was crossing the old river bridge across the Taos River, you know where it was, before it changed its course, that horse stopped dead on the bridge, looked over the railing, vaulted through Colonel Goodnight into the air one more time, down on fractured his collarbone, and the horse mounted the railing and leapt off the bridge into the water and sat down. Well, Colonel Goodnight picked himself up painful, and he was madder than a boiled owl. That's mad. Waded down there, pulled that ridiculous beast, backed up onto the road, switched it around so it faced the other way, clambered up onto it, put steel to it, rode hell-bent for leather back to Oliver Lovin's cabin, vaulted from the saddle, tore the door off of its frail leather hinges, cast it to one side, dragged Oliver Loving out by the hair of his head, danced a little litany of doom and vituperation upon his rapidly aging body, picked him up by the hair of his head, said, "God damn you, Oliver Lovin. I know you told me that was an egg-setting horse, and I didn't believe you, but you see that yellow runny stuff on its rump? It's an egg-setting horse, all right. But when I was crossing the old river bridge there over the Taos River there before it changed its course, you saw it, that damn horse threw me into the air, cast me to broke my damn collarbone, leapt off of the bridge and sat down in the water. And I want to know why." "Oh, Charlie," Oliver said, "I forgot to tell you, he sits on fish too."